Welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. And today I want to talk about Proust. So Marcel Proust was a famous French novelist who wrote the world famous book In Search for Lost Time. And this book, it's a very long one, yes? It's a very long book, so I knew I wouldn't be able to read it because let's check how long this book is, yes? How long is In Search for Lost Time? How long is In Search of Lost Time? So it spans 7 volumes, totaling around 1.3 million words, yes? Reading the entire text requires about 75 to 150 hours. So obviously, I mean, there's I didn't see the point in even trying to read it. I mean, I guess I could read some sections, but then, I don't know, can you read the book in that way? Can you just read part of it without reading the rest and understanding the book? I don't know. So therefore, I just decided to read Alain De Botton's interpretation of it, his interpretation of Proust and his thought, and how he can change his life. How he can change our lives. Yes, and I found a lot of gems in this book. It contains a lot of subtle wisdom, a lot of kind of just practical advice. There's nothing inherently amazing about this book, or perhaps even about Proust himself and his worldview. I think Proust was just more of a kind of subtle genius who notices, well, not notices because he's not alive now, is he? But who noticed perhaps how we can improve our life on the practical level. Yes, this is my interpretation. Yes, so Proust had a lot of wisdom. He offers a lot of wisdom for us, and we can use this wisdom to improve our life. And I like Alain De Botton. I like this guy a lot. He runs the channel, the School of Life on YouTube. So he has this channel. It's got millions of followers, 10 million maybe, something like this. So yes, he creates a lot of great content about modern life, about love, about friendship, about relationships, about different philosophers, about how to live a good life, about trauma, about mental health. So you can find it for yourself and perhaps pick up some extra wisdom from these videos, yes? But I'd like to share with you today what I found to be important in this short book by Alain De Botton, how Proust can change your life, yes? And this this is a great quote by Marcel Proust, and it's definitely true. And this is how it goes: as soon as he ceased to be mad, he merely became stupid. There are maladies we must not seek to cure, because they alone protect us from others that are more dangerous. That is definitely true. Everyone's a bit mad, let's be honest. We all are a little bit mad. I mean, some people try to repress this madness. I think in the long run, this is not a good strategy. I don't think this is a good strategy. You need to express your madness, but you need to kind of sublimate it in the correct way, yes? You can't just become mad and start doing horrible things, yes? You start abusing your loved ones, perhaps. You start to I don't know, start to drink alcohol, you start to drink a lot of alcohol, you engage in violent crime perhaps, or whatever, yes. So you have to be able to kind of sublimate this madness in the correct way, yes. I mean, what one strategy for me is to be a bit mad in the gym sometimes, yes. So when I feel I've got a bit more energy, I just go for it, yes. In the gym, I push myself. I try to push myself in the sauna, and I think such a strategy works. Yes, we need a bit of madness. Yes, we need that touch of madness in our life in order to improve it and to protect us from other maladies exactly that are more dangerous. So if you don't do this, you become repressed. You end up becoming kind of repressed, depressed, become anxious. You build up trauma because your energy is trapped. I think it's something to do with trapped energy. You need to unleash this energy. You need to release it, and this is what I think madness does. Madness is a way of unleashing it. Yes. And yes, so I began my article with this quote because I think it's an important quote. Yes. And everyone has their own strategies. Yes. To their own strategies that they use to overcome their madness. Yes. To channel their madness in the correct way. Yes. So let's go into my article now, and I mentioned here obviously that the length of the book is ridiculous, right? So I'm never gonna read it, and I'm not really that interested in Proust, to be honest. So yes, there's that. I decided to read Alain de Botton's interpretation, and there were a few insightful Proustian gems of wisdom. Yes, and the first half was a bit boring, to be honest. The first half of the book, I don't know, just boring. I didn't really kind of notice anything insightful. Perhaps I don't know. Maybe I need to read it again. I don't know. But as I reached the end of the book, it started to get better and better, and there was this chapter about friendship. Yes, and Proust talks about friendship in specific terms. He says that we need to situate our friendship on more realistic grounds. So in order for friendships to continue flourishing and to remain relatively harmonious, Proust says that we must realise that sometimes truthfulness and cordiality rarely go together well. Therefore, there are times when we must pick one over the other. So perhaps in his real life, Proust didn't want to say the truth about some of his friends. Maybe he didn't want to abuse them or criticize them. He didn't want to hurt their feelings, maybe, or something like this. This is my interpretation. Yes. So he didn't want to be too open because he knew that perhaps if he did say the truth, then maybe their friendship would end. Yes. Or there'll be just too much kind of trouble. So instead of this, he wrote about some of his friends and some of his acquaintances or loved ones in the book In Search for Lost Time. Yes, and he included them in the book as specific characters. This is how I understood what Alain de Botton wrote about Proust, yes, and his views on friendship. I mean, I don't know if this is the correct strategy. I think I mean sometimes you can be truthful, but you can express your truth in a more diplomatic way, perhaps. you, you can still say the truth, but you don't have to kind of abuse, yes, or put down other people. I don't know if I totally agree with this, but I kind of understand what Proust is getting at, because sometimes, firstly, what we think is true about another person might not be true, yes, because we judge them, we don't know them totally, yes. So that's the first point I would make, yes. But secondly, if there is a negative trait that a person exhibits, and some behaviors that we don't like, obviously, in such a situation, perhaps we need to be more truthful, yes. We should be more truthful, because perhaps they can change this behavior, and therefore our relationship to them will improve. But if it's something about their inherent personality or character, perhaps, or other issues, then perhaps we shouldn't even try, yes, to change them. This is how they are, yes. We shouldn't try to be truthful or to be righteous and to think we're better than them and try to change them, yes. So maybe in such circumstances, we should follow the advice of Proust, yes, and kind of disclose them in more secret ways, via works of art, for example, or something. Because this is why Proust wrote In Search for Lost Time. Well, that's one of the reasons, I believe, yes. Uh, anyway, moving on. So love. So love was an important part of the book. So we've got romantic love, we've got platonic love, we've got love for our family. So this covers all types of love, yes. And I really like this chapter, because when we love, eventually sometimes we take the objects we love, not, well, quote unquote objects, yes, people, we take the people that we love for granted, yes, because we constantly see them, perhaps, and therefore in the long run perhaps we stop cherishing them, and this is dangerous, yes. It's not good, because we don't know how long they will live for. So therefore we need to all love them every day. We have to kind of boost this love for them, and here I guess Proust shares the view of Lacan. So for both thinkers, they believe that the love for a person at its core and essence is actually is not physical or sexual. Yes, it's something deeper, and here again, Proust shared a brilliant idea, which is that our anticipation of acquiring our love object, our fantasy before its consummation, is usually more real than the act of acquiring itself. So, and here a thought by Lacan popped up in my mind, and he said, "Desire is desiring itself." Yes, and obviously we are human, so we kind of fall under this trap sometimes. We have this, these fantasies, etc., and then when we realize these fantasies, suddenly the love suddenly disappears. Perhaps, yes, we kind of we're let down, or we're unsatisfied. Yes. So obviously here I presented the problem of love, how we need to kind of reinvigorate our love, not take our love objects, quote unquote, yes, for granted. But how can we do this? So I mean, here obviously I don't know. This is a whole deep issue. Yes. This is a whole philosophy could be used here to to solve the issue, well, of love, or maybe the love you just love. Yes, you just keep going. Yes, you love you. God loves us, yes, Jesus loves us, and through the love that we receive from Jesus and from God, we can love ourselves, and then we love others. Yes, it's kind of like a cycle. Okay, this is what thoughts that popped up into my mind just now. But yes, moving on. Proust then talks about art, yes, and how art can help us recover lost meaning and bring a bit more charm to our day-to-day ordinary life. And here, I know what he's talking about. I know what he's talking about because as you get older, because things get so monotonous, the daily cycle of life starts to wear you down. You need to find strategies to kind of rediscover that lost charm of life that you had when you were a child. Yes, because when we are children, everything's so fresh and new. We're young, innocent souls, and as we get older, we lose this. Yes, but we constantly need to find kind of our inner child. We need to revivify our inner child in order to find the beauty of life. Yes. So I've been on many cycles. Yes. Of more positive mood, happiness, and then I just trapped in these low mood states. And I guess as you get older, you find strategies to counteract this. Yes, because you have to here I would say you have to attack the problem from multiple angles. Yes, you need to attack we could say depression. Yes, because I guess this is basically about depression. Yes, we could say slightly. So you need to attack your depression from multiple angles. Yes, in order to recover lost meaning and to find this charm in our day-to-day ordinary life, because ultimately this is all we have. Our day-to-day life is all we have. Sometimes you don't notice that you actually already have everything you need. You just need to kind of, I don't know, find that inner something. You need to kind of notice the switch, or something needs to switch. Yes, and I love this quote by Proust. Well, and he said, "We must open our eyes and see the beauty in everyday objects." We need to reopen our eyes. We need to look with new eyes. And perhaps there is a quote in the Bible that is about that kind of talks about this as well. Let me check. Bible, looking with new eyes, maybe. Maybe there is. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But yes, I think you know what I'm talking about, because here it is what I added to my article. It's my interpretation. Sometimes we can be led astray, yes, by our a priori conceptions of objects, people, and places surrounding us. So we put like people, we put objects, we put things, places into a box. Yes, we just take things for granted. We don't notice that we already have everything we need. We should be grateful. We are lucky. Yes, we have an environment that is conducive to growth, and this touches upon the issue of first world problems and third world problems. The third world faces the problem of finding food and water. Yes, but we don't have this problem in the first world. We've got water, we've got food, we've got this material prosperity. The problem in the first world is finding, I think, meaning. Yes, finding meaning, finding purpose. This is the main problem I think that people have now, and it's about kind of recovering this lost meaning and recovering our purpose. Yes, discovering our real self and our inner child. And in the book by Alain De Botton, he offers, well, not offers, he provides an example of like a situation which kind of clarifies the issue. Yes, so this So this is what I added here. It's like a nonsense first world problem. Yes, it really is a nonsense first world problem. It really shouldn't be a problem in the first place, but it does clarify the issue. So we can imagine a sea and its waves. Yes, and there are people who only start to appreciate this when they pay 100 francs, because they associate the pleasure of having spent 100 francs with having a view of this sea and its waves. But they could have had this for free, yes. This is there's some subtle wisdom there. They could have seen the sea and its waves for free, but they chose to pay 100 francs in order to see it, which then allowed them to find the pleasure. So I guess this gets to the problem. I think we already have what we need. Yes, we just need to notice it. So that was another bit of subtle wisdom that I really liked. I really liked from the book, and yes. So the second part of the book, the second half, was great. I think the first half was a bit kind of boring, but the rest of it was good. So I read it in Polish actually. Jak Proust może zmienić twoje życie. Alain de Botton. De Botton, not de Benoit. Was I saying Alain de Benoit the whole time? Alain de Botton. De Botton. I don't know how to pronounce it actually. Alain de Botton. Alain de Botton. Yes. So yes, in general, my impression of Proust. So he shared just common sense wisdom, I think. There was nothing too kind of shocking about it, something revelatory, but there was, it's just subtle, practical, common sense wisdom, and how when we apply this, we can recover time. Yes, we can stop wasting time. Yes, we can stop wasting time on trivialities and just get on with life. Yes. So when I was writing this article, I read up on a few more of his aphorisms and quotes. And yes, he definitely was a true artist. Yes, he's a good guy. Proust was kind of a neurotic. When you read up on his habits and how he lived, he was usually stuck indoors. I think he was usually stuck indoors. He was a bit neurotic, and yes, well, I guess this ended up with him writing this massive book, yes, In Search for Lost Time, with 7 million words, but yeah, you can find a lot of subtle wisdom in this book. And yeah, I ended my quote with this article. So the real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. So I'll repeat that. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And that's a brilliant quote, I think. It goes to the crux of the issue. Sometimes we're constantly seeking more, but we're never satisfied. Yes, we just need to have new eyes. Yes, we need to find this somehow. So yes, I recommend this book. I recommend listening to Alain De Botton. He had a podcast recently, I think, with Chris Williamson, which was quite interesting. Again, the School of Life channel will help you. I'll actually cover Alain De Botton in a separate video. So he wrote a book, The Consolations of Philosophy. I want to cover this book in another video. But yes, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found out something interesting. I hope you found some vital information that will help you in your journey. If you liked the video, consider subscribing and liking the video. It will help me grow the channel and help me on this project. I think it will help a lot of people out there. If you like the video even more, consider donating at Buy Me a Coffee. So I'll provide a link in the description. But yes, if you made it this far, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.